We're going to be taking a look at a new feature in the Google Apps that's called the Explore feature. And it's a replacement for what used to be called the Google Research tool. And if you were to look at last year's tech challenges, challenge number 6 was on the Google Research tool, which was really handy, had a lot of great features. If you look for that tool now, it's gone. It's not in the menu anymore in the Google Apps. And it's been replaced by the Explore feature. So we're going to take a look at how that feature works and how it's different from the Research tool. So the Explore feature is currently working with Docs, Sheets, and Slides, and it works differently in each app. So we're going to start in Docs and work our way through these so you can see how it works. In Google Docs, the Research tool was in the Tools menu, and you won't see that here anymore, but you do see the word Explore. You'll also see there's a little button down here in the bottom right corner of your screen, and that says Explore as well. The way it works is it analyzes your document and tries to pull up related links, images, and research based on what's in your document already. And so one way you can use this with students is if they're having trouble finding a good starting place for a research paper or something similar, they can just start by typing in topics and related words into a document and then use the Explore tool to sort of jump off and find different related things. So in this document, I just have typed Martin Luther King Jr., and that's the only thing that's in the document. So I can go down here to the Explore button and click it, and this panel comes out from the right side. And there's 3 sections here. There's topics, images, and related research. And each one has a More button that you can kind of look at. In addition, there's a search bar at the top, so you can type in additional terms and search for those as well. So in that sense, it still has some of the Research tool functionality. But let's take a look back over here. So under Topics, if I click More, I get a list of topics that are related to Martin Luther King Jr. We've got Civil Rights Movement, the I Have a Dream speech, Malcolm X, nonviolence. And so you can click on one of these and do further research and images and things like that. I'll click the back arrow to go back to my original page here. Under Images, just like before, you click that, you get a list of Martin Luther King Jr. images. And if you want to add one to your document, you just click the little plus symbol. And it shows up in the document, and it is linked to the website, which in this case is a Creative Commons wikimedia.org. So I can shrink up that image and have that as part of my document. For related research, you've got some little snippets here from various websites, and so you'll see that it tries to pull out some usable quotes or facts. And so if I click the plus button on one of these guys, I'll click that. It'll take that exact block of text and put it into my document where my cursor is. So Martin Luther King Jr. was a Baptist minister and a social activist, etc. And then there's a little footnote here, and if you look down at the bottom of the document, it inserts an annotation there. If I click the More button, I just get a lot more sources to choose from. And of course, if you want to pursue any of these, you can just click on them, and it'll take you to that website, and then you can find more information that way. So it works a couple different ways. It works as a great way to just insert some facts that are automatically cited, or as a way to pursue more research by clicking directly on those links. So that's how it works in Google Docs. And again, the idea here is that for a student who's starting a paper or a research project, they can just type in their topics and maybe some keywords that are related, and then use the Explore tool to jump out to the internet and pull in different resources as a way to begin the project and come up with great resources that way. Okay, let's move over to Google Sheets. So open up Google Sheets, and you'll notice down in the right side, bottom right corner, there's an Explore button down there as well. So in this case, I have a real simple table of student test scores set up here. And if I select my data, and then I click on the Explore tab, it analyzes my data and tries to come up with useful information about it. And so you get, right at the top here, a sum of all the numbers indicated there, an average, minimum, and maximum, the number of data elements that it's analyzing here. There's a spot where you can ask questions here. So for example, I can type in, what is the average for test 2? And it'll tell me the average of test 2 is 83.72. Okay. Now for some reason, I'm finding this doesn't work horizontally. I'm not exactly sure why. So it's not fully functional in the ways that I would intuitively think it should work. But if I try to say, what is the average for James, which is my first row of information there, cell A2, and I hit enter, it doesn't understand the question. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing wrong there, but it is able to understand some queries about the data. Okay, and then underneath answers, we have analysis. And you can see here, it generates a bunch of charts and graphs and facts about what you've got in your sheet, which is really handy because I didn't need to go through and set up charts myself or type in any formulas or anything. It just generated this stuff. It tries to figure out what kind of information are you going to want to know from this table. So as an example here, this first chart, I can click the magnifying glass here to go full size. And these are the scores for each test broken down by student. And so I can see it's got a nice little key over here on the right. Everything's color coordinated. I can mouse over these and I can see individual numbers for each student and their score. And right away visually I can see we got a problem with Trevor here. He's low on all the scores compared to everybody else. So that's really handy. If you click this little button with the plus symbol, it will insert the given chart into your sheet. So if I click that, there it is. And that's just like as if I had set this up myself. I can go in and edit this and change all the settings if I want to. So that's really quick and handy. Some of these are going to be useless. It's not always good at picking out what you want to know. And so, for example, here is data pulled from the Sarah row, and it's the 4 test scores, but it's in a pie chart, which is kind of meaningless in terms of the tests, sort of. Probably not something you're going to set up yourself. Here's a correlation between test 3 and test 2. Here's test 1 by student name. So it does have some good things you can just quickly kind of grab. Okay, let's take a look at Google Slides. In Slides, Explorer works a little differently. The idea is that you could set up a slideshow with information, and I haven't really formatted this. I haven't picked a color theme or anything like that. And if I use the Explore button, what it's going to do is say, hey, here's what you've created with different looks applied. And so you can kind of look through this and say, oh, okay, this is a nice format for that slide. And you can move to another one, and it doesn't always do a great job of grabbing lots of opportunities for you, but like in this case, there's only one choice, and it gets rid of the picture if I do this one, but it does come up with options. There's less functionality in Slides than there is in the other 2 apps, but it still might be useful there. Okay, so that's the Explore feature of Google Apps, and works great in Docs, works great in Sheets, and gives you a few options to look at when you're using Slides.